Well, one way of getting safer roads for cyclists and the rest of us is to improve how motorists drive at an early age. Driving is the single biggest killer of young people in this country. So could you persuade your teenager to spend a little time on a computer to make them safer drivers? That's what my next guest is hoping. The TV presenter Sophie Morgan nearly lost her life in a car crash. Today she began a national tour of schools to show pupils how a programme developed in Surrey can potentially save lives. I'm delighted to say she joins me now. Take me through, first of all, the software. How does it work when somebody sits down at a computer? Basically what it does, we encourage young people, novice drivers or pre-novice drivers, to log in to Drive IQ, which is a free programme. Let's see if we can have a look. Yeah, there it is. So you'll see here, this basically, the software is completely simulated. So it's very safe. What we're enabling young people to do is get into this, go into the software and run through these situations that they would encounter once they pass their test. But this time they can make the mistakes from the safety of a computer instead of actually on the roads where it might actually be irreparable and fatal, as we keep seeing with the danger. What's the science behind it? The frontal lobe of our brains is responsible for the danger analysis and risk assessment and that sort of thing. When we are about sort of 18, that part of our brain isn't fully developed, and it doesn't fully develop until you're about 25. This software is actually what we call brain training. Now, the young person doing it doesn't necessarily need to know that. What we know from behind the scenes is that it's enhancing their ability to think. So what happens is that these young drivers start to think like older drivers and make safer decisions, basically, and know the risks that they're in to enable them to actually look after themselves more effectively. I'm sure parents would love all their teenagers to do this. How do you persuade, and you spoke to some young people today, how do you persuade teenagers that this might be worth a try, that the software is free, isn't it? It's not going to cost anybody anything. Exactly, it costs nothing. And I mean, it's hard to get young people to actually listen, but what I'm trying to say is I was one of those young people. I had an accident, and it does happen, and as we're seeing, it's happening more and more often. And what we're saying, or what I'm trying to encourage young people to understand, is that once you get your driving licence, you're not definitely safe. There are flaws in the system, and we're seeing more and more accidents happen. And what I'm encouraging people to do is use this software as a sort of, it fills that gap that we're seeing, so that when you get on the road, you understand how your attitude and how your behaviour affects how you drive. It's not just your proficiency in how to, mirror signal manoeuvre anymore. And you're so excited when you first pass your test and get behind the wheel. Does your experience resonate with the children that you're talking to? I hope so. I hope that they understand that I'm not trying to preach at them. I was them once, and I was a victim of circumstance. I mean, I was in the car that I think a lot of young people find themselves in. It's very stereotypical. I was with my friends. We were leaving a party. We were going on to another party. I mean, I was sober and I was seat-belted, but I was heavily distracted. I didn't really know the dangers I was actually in. And you were driving? I was driving, and I had a car full of people, and there was loud music, and everyone was very excited, and it was one of those environments that, like I said, I didn't know the danger I was really in at that point. I'd not had any experience of that. And what Drive IQ enables people to do is to actually understand the dangers that they're facing, because unfortunately the driving test isn't giving them that experience before they actually get on the roads, and that's why we're seeing these problems continue to happen. Sophie Morgan, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for joining us, and good luck with the rest of the tour that started today. Thank you so much. Thank you.